All righty, here we go. It is the Vol Report with Cooper Mays, brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. And this is the first time I think that Cooper's really had an opportunity to sit down and talk about his decision to return to Tennessee. I know you did a media appearance, Coop, but those are kind of hard to really get in depth and talk about why you will be coming back to Tennessee for another year when you certainly could have headed on to the NFL and began that Hall of Fame career. So it wasn't just because of Vol Report brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning and the ability to work with me, right? There was more at play.
No, this was it, man. This was cool.
He's ready to run an HVAC company and he's ready to run a media company, and here he goes. You know what I think it was about? So I'm with my wife yesterday. We were celebrating an anniversary of our first date. We celebrate that more than our wedding anniversary. So right now listeners are like, what the heck is Dave talking about? Okay, but I text Coop and I said, would tomorrow, which would be when this aired, be okay, because we were supposed to do it the day before. And I said, because it's the 31st anniversary of ooh, I just gave away the age. My wife's not going to be happy about that. But it was the 31st anniversary of my wife and my first date. So we kind of took the day off. And I said, time flies crazy. So this is what Cooper responds with. That's what it's all about, brother. Only get one family. Says a lot about you. Says a lot about you and the fact that you hold family so dear. How important was that in your decision?
Probably a good bit of it, honestly. You know, to me, I put my peace and you know my heart kind of before much else in my life. You know, I prioritize being content and I don't want to say happy, because kind of being happy is kind of fleeting, you know, but being content and comfortable where I'm at and where my feet are is really huge to me. So that was a huge part. It was a big reason why I came to Tennessee in the first place, and you know, it's a really big reason why I stayed too.
And I think when you say family, it's not just that your dad played at Tennessee and your brother played at Tennessee, but how much does the University of Tennessee and its football program feel like family?
I mean, it's all I really know. You know, I mean, I can't really speak much on anybody else because I've never really played anywhere else. I've never been much other places. But you know, even when I was getting recruited here, I was here all the time, and before I was getting recruited here, I was here all the time, and then obviously now I'm there all the time. So it's been Tennessee football and the Knoxville area has been like a mainstay in my whole life. So I'm really at ease here and really comfortable here. And when I'm comfortable, I do my best work.
Oh, well put. Now, I've learned as much from Cooper as he's learned from me. I'll go ahead and tell you that. I've learned a lot from Cooper, and I just love his perspective. But you did have a really difficult decision to make because you had two good options. It's easy to make a decision when you have one good option and one bad option. It's sometimes easy when you have two bad options because you pick the lesser of two evils. But you had two good ones. Go to the NFL or come be a leader for this program that you love. Can you take me through either the final day or the final few hours? How did you go about it? Did you sleep on it? Did you pray on it? Can you take me through that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely prayer about it was a main thing, and you know, you'll never go wrong when you put stuff in the Lord's hands. So that was a big thing. And then after that, you kind of go straight to your family and kind of feel that out and see what they think about it. And then, you know, past that, you kind of look at it logistically and kind of you look at the NFL side of it. I didn't have a good opportunity to stay healthy all year, so that kind of put a ding on my report a little bit. And then, you know, I've got a good opportunity to come back and raise my draft stock more. And then when you got a new facet of it with you, when you got NIL, that kind of supplements stuff a little bit. So kind of when it all played out for me, it all made sense that, you know, I think I made a really good choice to stay here.
I think you did too. Was there pressure? I want to ask you that. It's brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning, cityheatandair.com. Don't trust a fly-by-night HVAC dealership to come in and tell you need a whole new unit. Maybe that's not the case, because they've got 50 years of business right there in East Tennessee. Cityheatandair.com. Integrity matters. Was there pressure? Because we saw how the front played without you. We saw how important you were. I said at the beginning of the year, I thought you were the most important player on the team, and the bubble wrap guy. And was there pressure to come back, either externally or internally within your team?
No, no. All of my teammates fully supported me. I mean, they understand what it's like. You know, they know how it is to not be healthy, and you know, when you out there when you're not healthy, you can play through stuff, but you get your butt kicked. You know, and then when people are watching film, it doesn't say Cooper Mays has 3 hernias and an abdominal wall tear. It just shows the film. You know, so it's a pretty easy decision when you look at it from a player's perspective to take care of yourself and make sure you're right before you come back. So especially in my position, I mean, you can't play against 330-pound nose guards with no core muscles, you know. So as far as externally, yeah, a lot of fans were upset about it, and you know, they can say what they want, but they're never in your shoes, you know, when it comes to that stuff. And they didn't know what was going on, so they were kind of left in the dark about it. So a lot of people speak with a lot of certainty about stuff that they don't have any clue about, and that kind of it messes with stuff. But I know who I am, and I know what I'm about, and I would never leave anybody out to dry, or I would never, you know, leave the team out to dry. I was just making sure that when I did get back, that I was going to be the best player that I could be to help this team win. And I think it all worked out exactly how it should, and how it was supposed to. You know, it was written long before I was here.
Now, that's the first time you've shared, and I've known what it was since you were hurt, but I didn't share it with anybody. But wow, 3 hernias and an abdominal tear. When you hear that from a doctor, how scary is that heading into the season? I mean, we're talking about mid-August.
Yeah, it's a gut punch. No pun intended or whatever. But you know, it's when you figure out right before the season that something like that's been going on, and you know, it just affects your whole training. It affects really everything you do. You can't do anything without your core. You know, I always tell people when they were asking about it, you wouldn't build a mansion on sand. You know, that would make no sense. So without your core, without your foundation, you can't do anything, especially in my position. I mean, there's some spots you could probably get away with it, but everything I do is all about core strength. So I really had no choice.
No, was there ever any consideration about perhaps not playing this year with something that serious?
No, no, I knew I could get myself back right. I just knew it was going to take time, and I knew probably people were going to be, you know, I knew it was going to come back on me, and people were going to be upset with me. But I mean, there's nothing I could do about it. So I'm a guy that I don't worry about much stuff like that. Like I said, I know who I am, and I know how much I sacrifice for everybody around me, and to make sure that they're all taken care of. So I know who I am, and I knew how I was handling the situation, and I knew how it was. So it didn't really bother me much, but it was what it was.
You're a smart guy. I'm sure you assembled as much knowledge as you could and information. Who are some of the people you're like, I want to talk to this person before I make my decision? Who are some of those people?
Really just my family. You know, that was the biggest people. I don't really, you know, talk to a lot of people because, you know, at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to do it. You know, people always want to talk about what you should do, and you know, it even kind of comes back to the injury thing. People always have an opinion about what you should do, but at the end of the day, you got to walk in those two shoes, and you're the one that's got to do it. So my mom's always told me that you're the one that's going to have to live it. So you shouldn't really listen to anybody else, but make your decision for yourself. And obviously, you know, she's very big on taking the Lord into account. But when it comes down to you, you're the one that's got to live it. You got to go do the stuff. You got to go do the practice. You got to go play the games. I mean, if you want to do it, then it's on you.
At some point, I want to take, you know, I love your dad, Kevin. So at some point, I want to take you and your mom out, because your mom's been an inspiration just through you, through things I've heard through you. Your mom seems like an incredible lady, and with the decision that there's also the way things ended. And I'm talking about the whole season. So with you injured and then 8-4, and I could go back and look at a couple of games in particular that could have shaken out a little bit differently very easily. You could be at 10 wins again or even better. So how about leaving on a high note? Was that a big factor?
Yeah, and for sure for me, I take, like I said, I take my job very seriously, and you know, I like taking care of people. That's a big thing of mine. I like giving everybody else around me a better chance to win. I like giving everybody else help around me. I feel like that's my role. So me coming back and doing my job at a high level, I know puts Tennessee in a better spot next season. So definitely really excited about coming back and you know, doing my job at a high level and putting us in a chance to win.
Obviously, the NIL money plays some sort of a factor in it. How much does it mean that Tennessee, whatever that number is, and I don't want to ask you numbers, it's your business, but how much does it mean that Tennessee would, not the University of Tennessee, but the advertisers that are out there, the sponsors, those type of people would provide a position in which you could actually make a decision, as opposed to saying, I know I can go make money in the NFL. How much does that mean to you?
Yeah, like I said earlier, it was a big part in my decision as well. It had to make sense. Like I said, in the logistics of it, that was a big part of it as well. You know, people didn't have this opportunity back in the day, and it's really a game changer and changes the way college football is, and I think a positive way. A lot of people get upset about it and stuff, but I mean, there's no doubt that NIL has helped a lot of programs, including our program, and probably will continue to help us for a long time. So it's been a big part in my decision, and it was big time for sure.
So we get to continue the Vol report with Cooper Mays.
Boom.
Sweet. All right, that's reason enough to hit that subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed yet, do that and turn the notifications on. So we would greatly appreciate that. There's one SEC team that I'm not going to call out because I don't want you to put you in a position where you get quoted. But I know of one SEC team that they paid a bunch of people that came in, a bunch of prospects, but they didn't take care of the guys that were similarly in a position to you. And their school, that their season imploded. They're looking for a new coach. People could probably figure it out who it is. But how important is it in this NIL world that the guys who are proven get their fair piece of the pie, as opposed to the commitments that are made to high school prospects in hopes that they are contributors to the program?
I think it's huge. You know, I'm one of those guys that was in that area of coming into college football with no NIL, and then was a starter when NIL started, and I saw the dilemma with it in many programs. I don't know. I think it's huge, but those, I will say, when you look at it timeline wise, I guess those days are about over, right? I mean, I guess in the next year or so, I guess that'll kind of fizzle out, but while it's lasted, yeah, it's definitely been a thing for sure.
Yeah, I think people have learned. I think people in college programs have learned, other than being healthy and just getting overall better. Is there anything that you would like to put on tape this upcoming year for the NFL? And I promise you, we're going to talk about the Citrus Bowl in our next ball report. I don't want to overlook that, but this is my first chance to visit with you. Is there any goals, and it can be as a student or it can be off the field too? What do you want to be? What does Cooper Mays want to be in 2024?
Oh man, that's a hard one. I mean, as far as football goes, just continue to get stronger and like you said, stay healthy the whole year. That's a big thing. But get stronger and put it on tape that you know I'm very proven. I'm really good technique wise. I mean, there's not much stuff that gets past me mentally. So just continuing to get stronger and twitchier and faster, everything overall physically just get better at. And then off the field, man, it's always an ongoing process getting right with the Lord, man. That's a big thing that there's an opportunity to do every day. So trying to get right on that end too.
Well, and we have Christmas coming up. So do you remember as a kid your all-time favorite Christmas present? I will share mine first and give you a chance to think. Mine was a Diamondback BMX bike, all sparkly and silver. And I remember it specifically because it got stolen before Valentine's Day. But anyway, and my parents didn't have the money to go buy me another one.
That's 2
But
months, man. 2 months is not long.
I know I didn't. Well, I propped it up outside my house because I thought it looked cool. And then somebody just came by and stole it because it was brand new. But anyway, what was the best Christmas present you ever got?
Man, I remember the most excited I probably ever was is there was I think it was probably one of the only times in my life we actually had snow on Christmas Day. So we woke up with snow, we went outside and there was big old trampoline in the front yard that Santa had politely gifted us down. So that was probably the most excited I was. There's snow on the ground. It was a snowy Christmas, snow all over the trampoline. So that was in and of itself just turned, you know, I mean, you can't get much better than that. So I don't know. That's probably the most excited I ever was.
That's pretty good. Now I'm gonna say on behalf of all Tennessee fans, stay off the trampolines, okay?
Oh yeah, no, not anymore, man. I used to be real acrobat, man.
Oh, I believe that.
Yeah, backflips, all that stuff.
Oh, I totally believe that. I don't want you on a trampoline and breaking an arm or something. We can't have that.
No, not much anymore, man. The joints ain't what they used to be. That's for sure.
Well, Merry Christmas. We're going to talk Citrus Bowl if it's okay with you when you're down in Orlando. And it's I think the best Christmas present that Tennessee football fans could have gotten when you announced that you were coming back. So Merry Christmas to you and your family. You know, I'm big fans all the way around, and I look forward to working with you another season. You're a special guy, special player, and blessed to have gotten to know you.
Yeah, man. I feel the same way, and I appreciate you a lot for sure.
He is Cooper Mays. I'm Dave Hooker. Coop's back 2024. This has been a presentation of Off the Hook Sports.